Now, men, I always tell you this. Before you decide to marry, not before you decide to marry. Before you decide to marry from a rich family, always make sure that you have your own money so that you do not go through scenarios such as the one we saw yesterday of Mike Sonko and daughter versus the other guy. Now, the other guy is Mike Sonko's daughter's husband. And this is what happened yesterday. So I'm going to play this clip. And I want each and every one of you to watch what transpired yesterday. And then you will decide if you want to marry from a rich family.
Watoto na kusomeshea, rent za kulipia, unanipigia mtoto wa nini? Sisi tukupiga sasa utasikiaje? Sikilizo wangu wako na kifua na nguvu kukushinda.
Wewe nini nisimsikize ile mtu mnaelewa.
Kuna watoto hapo wacha.
Order ni moja na order ni ya boss.
Follow my orders.
Now everything in this clip is just funny because listen, imagine being slapped, a whole man being slapped by some bodyguard, and then you can do nothing because the guy that you are up against is the guy with the money. Now the guy mentions how much he has paid your children's school fees, how much he sponsors your life. I mean, this is a rigged game. However much the guy may want to say something, he can't say something because the game is rigged and he doesn't have money. In fact, when a man tells you, I pay for your children's school fees, I make you to live well, and I give you all the money that you need for your day-to-day activities, I mean, how can you win such a match? That is why I'm telling men out here, make sure that at least before you get married, make sure that you have your own money, so that you may not be controlled this way, so that you may have a say in matters that do affect you. Imagine the guy just seated there and he cannot say anything, because if he tries to say anything, then everything will be stripped out. All the sponsorship will be stripped out from his home. Now, this lady can just decide and say, okay, I want to go and live at my father's place, or I have a home to live in, so there is no need for me to stay here, and you are providing nothing. But now, the other funny thing that I saw at that point is, after the guy was slapped, the girl jumped up and said this. Now, I want you to see at this point what this guy said at this point. What they would
watoto na kusomeshea, rent na kulipia, unanipigia mtoto wa nini?
Now, just listen how many things he mentioned at that point. Watoto na kusomeshea, I'm teaching your kids, and then I'm paying your rent. Now, guys, I want you to ask yourself, what is the work of this man in that house? What is the work of this husband in that house? Because apparently the father-in-law pays everything. Now, ladies out here have been coming up and saying, okay, I think you saw what fathers-in-law should do. They should be paying our... Now, I want you to see what ladies in this clip, or ladies who have watched this clip, said. They have been saying, it is a high time now that fathers-in-law now should get into the duty of paying rent, paying whatever needs that their children-in-laws have. Is it children-in-laws? Oh my God, I have a very bad English test today. Now, I want you to see what transpired when this guy was slapped, because that is what we were looking at. The lady jumped in to defend her, or the daughter of Mike Sonko jumped in to defend her. Look. Guys, I can never be slapped that way. I can never be whacked that way. Listen to that slap. Listen. And you know, another thing that you should realize at this point, some of the people are always carried by the events. Now, look at this bouncer. Do you know that if this lady, or Mike Sonko's daughter, and the husband get into a talking mode, they will fire the bodyguard? Because why did he even slap the husband too? to Mike Sonko's daughter, or how will they meet? How will they see each other when they get to a corner or they find themselves on a path? Now, this is why I always tell you, guys, always know your stand. Always know where you are. Now, the daughter of Mike Sonko will fire this bodyguard, and that will not be shown, but just know he's going to be fired because you slapped the husband to this daughter because you are just carried by the events. And that is why I'm telling you, always know your stance. But now let us go back to the story. So this guy is seated down and he can't say anything because the bosses are talking. Now listen to the bosses who are talking about the daughter's problems, or what the guy has made the daughter suffer through. And when you look at the daughter's face, it is not even a big mark, but the guy cannot say, I did not hit her hard, because you are at the mercy of the father-in-law who pays everything for you. Now listen to this.
Kuna watoto hapa, wacha.
Order ni moja na order ni ya boss.
Follow my orders. Don't be violent. Mbona nipigia mtoto? Na kulipia watoto wako school fees, na kulipia rent, na kulipia chakula, shopping na wafanyia, kila kitu kupiga. Why are you beating my daughter? Uko na nguvu kumshinda. Why are you beating my daughter? Nimekuja mwisho kama bibi na bwana. Nimekuja kukaa peke yangu nisi. Unampikia nini? Lazima la kwanza uone umefurusha mdomo. No, so I'm going to report this case to the police. Kama ya report, me I report it.
Guys, some cases are just rigged. You can never win, and I can assure you that, because look at the guy. He can't say anything. Anytime he tries to say something, the other voice is more powerful than what he has to say. So guys, whatever I want to tell you in this episode, because there is also another clip that Mike Sonko showed, which is kind of the guy asking for the Mike Sonko telling the guy, you will come to my office, and he says the vehicle tires are not in good condition. But guys, and then Mike Sonko says, I always do pay the repairs to your car, and I gave you this car. So guys, sometimes if you want to marry, do not be excited because you're marrying from a rich family. You should be excited that you have your money to marry from a rich family. But when you decide to marry from a rich family and you have nothing, you really have nothing, it will be difficult for you and it will be tough for you. So guys, if you decide out there that you want to marry a rich girl, whether it is a governor's daughter, whether it is an MP's daughter, whether it is a CEO, a bank CEO's daughter, always make sure that you have your own money. So another story that we want to turn on to is Kenyan websites were hacked on Monday. Now, what happened at this point? I want to read for you a story from the Citizen Digital, which says, White Power Worldwide cyber attack hits ministry's website in Kenya. Now, listen to this. Now, this is the message that was displayed after the Kenyan ministry websites were hacked. And yesterday is when we knew that our government cannot, in any way, cannot defend the sovereignty of their websites, because most of the, not one website, not two websites, but most of the websites were taken down by a group calling themselves Anonymous Sudan. So allegedly they were taken down by a group calling themselves Anonymous Sudan. So what happened yesterday? Guys, welcome and tune in. Now, websites for critical government ministries have suffered a cyber attack on Monday morning. Citizen Digital has noticed that access to a majority of the websites, which was inaccessible as the defacement involved altering their visual appearance and content, replacing legitimate information with unauthorized materials. One could only see encryptions that read, access denied by PCP, we will rise again, White Power Worldwide, and 1488 Hail Hitler. The ministries under attack include, now, the ministry that is supposed to be offering us security is the one that was hit by the security breach. The Ministry of Interior, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education, Energy, Labor, and Water. Now, when you look at these ministries, all these are the major ministries in Kenya. The Ministry of Interior is one of the most powerful ministries because it has the police under them and the administration under them, such as the chiefs, DOs, county commissioners. The Ministry of Health, this one is a critical infrastructure. And I thought when you are hacking, the one ethical rule of hacking is do not attack a health driven system. I've always known that because personally I am a software developer and I have always learned it under the ethicals of software hacking. Now, the other one was the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Energy, Labor and Water. Now, look at the first four ministries: Interior, Health, Education, and Energy. These are critical ministries that are needed by everyone in Kenya, but they were hit by the security breach yesterday. Though the government said that it had restored all those websites that had been taken over by Anonymous Sudan, allegedly, and they were working right. Now, what was the purpose of the attack? Why was the government ministries attacked? I don't know why, and no one knows. But later on, these ministries were restored. So the breach that has been sustained for most of the Monday morning until the time of press has disrupted access to critical government officials such as eCitizen, which was part of the group that was down because of the attack on the websites. Now, another thing is, how much do we need to learn from this scenario? How much do we need to know from what happened yesterday? So what happened yesterday caught the government by surprise. And this is the second time in 2 years that the government ministries portal has been attacked. And I thought the first time when they attacked, I thought the government will do something at least to try and protect their websites, but now it seems like they didn't learn anything. And this is the first time they said it wasn't successful. Now the second time it was successful. As you look in this image, you can see the message that was being portrayed after the government websites were attacked yesterday and they were taken over yesterday. So that is a very powerful thing that we should learn, that our systems are not secure. And I always look at this. Sometimes, I blame these things on our Kenyan education system, because we can't be learning about Vasco da Gama, and people out there are learning about technology and software from a very early age. They are taught how to protect their data from a very early age. Now, in Kenya, I look at the curriculum and all you see is people are learning about computer. And what they're learning about the computer is the parts of the computer. Now, I know the parts of the computer, but how can I now defend them? You are only given the choice to learn deep about computer at the university level, and that is if you do choose that as your language or that as your profession. But when it comes to the normal running of the curriculum, you only learn about basic things such as math, English, Kiswahili, and what have you. So guys, I think that is a very strong message that we should be learning from this point, that we have a very weak system, and we need to do more to protect our systems from crashing as the issue that happened yesterday, because now this has portrayed Kenya internationally as a weak one that you can get into and get out without any problem. Now, another thing that we want to tune in is this, another story. Yesterday, imagine you are on a TV station giving an interview, and then your major opponent is at your grandmother's place taking tea. Now, you may think that this one is a story from a movie, but I want you to see what happened yesterday. You may think, and I'm telling you, you may think that this is a story from a movie, but it is something that happened yesterday. A whole CS is at an interview, but then what is happening at her grandmother's place is something that you can beg on, or something that can surprise you, that you may wish to rush and see. Is it really a movie on Netflix, or is it a true thing that is happening? So this is what happened yesterday, and I want you to view the clips of what happened yesterday. After the former deputy president of Kenya went to CS Ruku's place, and he was given tea by CS Ruku's grandmother. Now, I'm looking for the clip so that you can watch and see what really happened yesterday. I mean, it is something crazy. You may think that it is something out of a movie, but this is something that has happened. Now, let me look for the clip. It is a great thing, and this is something that you should just watch. I'm not going even to talk about it, and I just want you to watch Yeah, this is the clip. Look at this clip, guys.
Mwaka kira huko muno horo waku bia gicera ni karibu ndio uko ngiururai noka kuhoya cai bia karibu turahoya
ubejagia nemo kurigirwa ni kabura
abana
Mwina thina mwiko
niguo
ni mweka
ukimbe rucire tene
ni mweka wega
auga tukoje guku tuhoya cai
na mwe nimukumenya mwakinya kwa mamu wenyu lengi bona muno ana nonda ukinyanga goko oinga ya mura.
So when you want to know that this guy is a political scientist, look at what he's doing. He's going a door-to-door campaign, trying to campaign for the DC people, member of parliament aspirant, while the others are using choppers, are busy in Nairobi holding board meetings. The guy is on the ground and not even been on the ground. The funny thing is, how can you come to my place when I'm not around and then do whatever you want just because you're a political opponent of mine who is looking for votes? Now, let me read you this. Rigathi is a political analyst. This is a Professor TV comment where they said, during this morning walk and door-to-door campaign for Newton Courage, his first homestead he visited was Ruku's own grandmother, where the news caught Ruku off guard, forcing him to abruptly cut short his NTV interview in Nairobi and rush back home. NTV had to bring MP Millie Mabona to continue with the morning show. Guys, and I always tell you this, politics is a dirty game. And if you have feelings, always make sure that you don't get into a dirty game because it will not be fair to you. You will be crying foul every time. When you go into politics, just know that it is a counter attack. Each and every time you have to have the cards, you have to have the formation to attack. Now listen, this guy has won people's hearts because after CS Ruku had that, he had to rush there. But by the time he reached, Rigathi Gachagua was gone. He had already passed the message and he already wanted people to see what he wanted to pass. So guys, politics is a dirty game. Let me give you the clip too, so that you can watch as we end the show. Look at how people they don't care if this is the opponent, they don't care if this is the guy that is competing against their own son or their own blood. They just are happy to have the deputy president. The whole thing was there, as you can see. But guys, I want to end the show at that point because that is our show for today, and I hope you have learned a few things. So for those guys who have not subscribed to the show, make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, and share. Guys, the comments are very important so that we can know how the show is heading.